and welcome to another episode of Movie Reviews with Cody, the channel where I go through my collection of movies and I tell you what I think about them. This week we will be continuing on with the Robocop trilogy, with this week being the 1990 sequel, Robocop 2, which this time is directed by Irvin Kershner. It stars Peter Weller and Nancy Allen reprising their roles from the first movie, and Tom Noonan as the bad guy. Now, I haven't heard of anybody mentioning that they've seen this before, whether they liked it or not. And I really wonder why, because this is a very underrated sequel. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it to the point to where, having never seen this movie before and giving it a fair shot, I actually prefer it to the first movie. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree outright because the first one is an absolute classic. But this one really did. It built on the story of Robocop, like he's a machine, but inside, is he still more human than machine? I liked that aspect. I liked how it also tried to flesh out the OCP Corporation and the world around the dystopian Detroit. I really enjoyed that, to the point to where I actually had to look it up, and I was fairly surprised to see that even though the two writers who originally wrote the script for the first movie, for this one they brought in Frank Miller. You know, the guy who did the comic books for Dark Knight Returns and 300 and Sin City. And I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. Now, granted, this movie, for as many violent scenes and gun shootouts as there are, it's not as over-the-top and gory like the first one, which is a little bit of a letdown, because there were scenes to where I was like, oh no, Verhoeven would have definitely made that head explode. Oh yeah, no, definitely arms and legs would be blown off by this point. But this movie doesn't have it. I mean, sure, you have the squibs and, people get hit by bullets and blood's spurting out everywhere, but it's just not as over the top. This movie still has a good sense of humor, especially a scene to where OCP, they give Robocop more directives, and his brain just becomes confused. Alright, there's a good bit of humor in that. I did enjoy that. Also, last episode, I had talked about claymation being a little wonky in the first Robocop. And I take it back, it's not claymation, it is stop motion. And with this one, you could definitely tell that they saved the budget for the stop motion for the climactic fight scene at the end between Robocop 2. Yes, in this movie, Robocop 2, Robocop's replacements are called Robocop 2. I don't know if that's supposed to be a meta joke, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume it was a meta joke. But they definitely made good use of that. At the beginning of the movie, when they start going through the other forms of the other Robocops and the Ed 209, it looks janky. And speaking of janky, Peter Weller went full bore with the whole robot thing. It looked... I actually laughed. As soon as, it first shows Robocop walking, it was like... I died laughing. I think he... I think it was worse this time around. Also, I do have to comment, Robocop's, metal attire in this one, the first one it was gray, in this one it's more blue. And I don't know why they did that. Maybe to, have him stand out as the good guy, so they made him blue. I'm not really sure. I didn't care for it. I preferred his gray and black get-up in the first movie compared to this one. But I do have to say, this movie, it definitely delves more into life around Detroit. And I really enjoyed this movie. Now, there are some complaints, like you're going to have a drug gang and the second in command's a little kid. Why? I kind of felt like they didn't really need to put a kid, because I think it really kind of took away from a lot of the movie by having a child as the second in command of a drug gang. And also with the OCP trying to find Robocop replacements. And they hire this psychologist who is picking death row inmates and maniacs to use their brains to put into a machine that can replace Robocop. I thought that was kind of a lazy thing to have with a bad guy in the film. I don't know. OCP, they are still your average corporate company. They want to take over Detroit, and they actually are able to take over Detroit because Detroit fell into debt with OCP, and the city didn't read the fine print of the contract. So when the company fell into debt and did not pay back OCP, OCP gained control of Detroit. I think that's an interesting aspect with corporations and everything. And with that, the cops' budgets and their salaries and their pensions are being done away with. And that's kind of why OCP goes into this whole thing on wanting to build more and better Robocops to replace the police force because they're taking over the city. There's a whole lot to unpack in this movie, and you just need to watch it. If you haven't seen this movie, definitely give it a chance. Right now, it's on Amazon Prime, but I also have it on Blu-ray. But this movie deserves a watch. It deserves to be enjoyed. I don't know why a lot of people just don't ever bring it up, because the stop motion's good, the story's good. I think it's a better story. And I even had to say, the computer effects they have for the bad guy, as scary as they are, like, it's not far off. Well, it's not far off from the horrifying look of the humans and the dog in the first Toy Story. But I mean, for the time, for 1990, it was pretty good. Don't think they get enough credit for that. But no, Robocop 2, I really enjoyed it. I think it is a worthy sequel. Personally, I like it better than the first one, even though the first one's a classic. But yes, definitely, watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. Buy it on Blu-ray, maybe cheaply on DVD if you can find it. This movie deserves more attention and more love than it's gotten. Alright, so that was my little spiel on Robocop 2. Next week we'll be going over Robocop 3, and apparently looking at the user scores and ratings, it's going to be a doozy to get through. So, bear with me. Bear with me. First one's good. Second one is really good. Alright, so enjoy those, and thank you for watching this. Alright, if you liked this video, if you're like, hey, more people should hear about Robocop 2, and this guy did it, hey, give me a like, share this video on all of your social media platforms, maybe subscribe to this if you want to, and if you want to get more notifications every week, just go ahead and hit that little bell over there. Also, I do sell books. Alright, I will have them listed on Amazon, Kindle, Apple, Nook, Kobo, Tolino. I'll leave a link down below. And also, if you want to follow me on social media, I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have Minds, I have Parler. So go ahead and follow me on there. And also, if you like this hoodie, and this is actually a pretty warm hoodie, with my logo on it, my author logo, I also have an account on Redbubble, and you can buy merchandise there. So please go ahead, check out my books, check out my social media. I'll leave the links down below, and I will see you all next time.